Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. It's that time of the week where I go over my headliners, my takeaways from each NFL game from Week 11. So let's get started with the Thursday early afternoon game between Packers and Lions. The headline is, "What's worse, the Lions or Jack Harlow's halftime performance?" There wasn't a lot I liked about either. Now, this is not a diss at Harlow. I do like Jack Harlow and all that, so that's why his halftime performance was a disappointment. It's because I was expecting more. And then the Lions were also a disappointment, obviously. The defense is regressing by the day, and the offensive line, for some reason, is not doing its job like it was for most of the season. Because the problem is when Goff is constantly being pressured, then he does not look like even a top 20 quarterback, and he starts turning the ball over. That's why the Rams got rid of him. So the Lions' offensive line has to be playing better in order for the Lions' offense to be functioning. But the Lions are reminding me a lot of the Vikings last year, where they won a lot of close games. They won a division. They were a good team, but just when they hit the playoffs, they're not going to do anything. That's kind of my feeling I get from them. Commanders versus Cowboys. Cowboys love some home cooking. On Thanksgiving Day, the Cowboys feasted, on once again beating another bad team and a bad defense and all that. And even Deron Bland's making history with 5 pick sixes in one season. Congrats to him on that. 49ers versus Seahawks. 49ers are going to repeat. If Seahawks would have won this game, then the division race would have felt more wide open. But now after this game, 49ers winning on the road, and now like 2 games above the Seahawks. Now it's clear that they're going to win a division again. And Seattle, you're probably still going to make the playoffs, but you better be careful if you're a Seattle fan. And then the Black Friday game between the Dolphins and Jets, a Fail Mary. A lot of people have a different nickname for the 100-yard pick six off a Hail Mary right before halftime, but you can add that to the list of bad plays, for the Jets, including the butt fumble, which happened on Thanksgiving Day and all that. But the Jets were doomed from the start. They inactivated Lazard, rightfully so. He wasn't playing well. And then they benched Zach Wilson. Like I said before the game, that benching wasn't going to do jack squat. Boyle admittedly got the ball faster than Wilson, but Boyle still got sacked 7 times. The offensive line is not good. There were a bunch of penalties. The play calling was bad. If it wasn't for the Jets scoring a defensive touchdown, then you only scored 7 points, Now, if you're a Jets fan, don't buy into Rodgers returning on Christmas Eve, because whether he returns or not, the season's over for the Jets. Okay, now for the Sunday games, you got Steelers versus the Bengals, Finally, a 400-yard plus game overall. If you took a while to get there, but the Steelers finally, in their first game post the Matt Canada firing, topped over 400 yards total. After having tight end Freiermuth back, that definitely helped Pickett. That was definitely Pickett's security blanket. He threw to him a lot, I noticed. Now, he didn't play a perfect game by any means, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Jags versus Texans, a game of inches. Houston's 58-yard tying field goal attempt hits the front bottom of the goalpost to avoid overtime. Now the Jags have control now of the division because of it. It'll be interesting to see if this Houston team can bounce back from that. Bucks versus Colts. Is playoffs possible? While I don't believe they are a playoff team, they might actually sneak in. Besides the Steelers and the Texans, both at home, all the other teams they play currently have losing records. If they go 4-2, then a 10-7 record is possible. They could sneak in. Crazy considering how things started just in the preseason, let alone the regular season. Saints versus Falcons. Falcons take control. The Falcons take control of the division, and when these two teams play each other again at the end of the season, it'll probably be for the division crown. Question is, can the Falcons avoid the head-scratching losses along the way? Because the Falcons have been very inconsistent all season. Patriots versus Giants. The Giants are the real losers. Yes, the Giants won this ugly game, but now they're out of the Williams and Drake's May sweepstakes and all that, so, sucks to suck. Patriots, however, if they lose out, they'll be in those sweepstakes, so it's good for them. Panthers versus Titans. King Henry makes an appearance. Because the Titans are not going anywhere, and Derrick Henry is not in the Titans' future plans, he has been very quiet this season, but it's nice to show that he has a game, where he just knows that, he's the guy, he's that dude, running back. If your Panthers find Frank Wright already, it's interesting. Okay, Rams versus Cardinals. Arizona may want to reconsider being in the top 2 sweepstakes. When Kyler Murray came back and won game 1 of his return, people were saying, you just roll with him. You don't need a quarterback. Just trade down, get some assets and all that, which is true because they do need assets. But after the way the offense has kind of like looked very consistent the past 2 weeks, it's like if the Patriots can somehow win a game and then Arizona loses out, then they get the second pick and would be in the Drake May sweepstakes. The problem is whether they have Caleb Williams or Drake May, or in this case Kyler Murray, it won't solve anything. The Cardinals just have so many issues that they need to upgrade and get better at in order for them to be near a playoff team. Browns versus Broncos. 5 in a row. Don't look now, but the Broncos have won 5 in a row, and since they have a pretty easier schedule going forward, they could be a team that we look at a month from now and say, how are they in the playoffs? Chiefs versus Raiders. Oh, there is an act 2. The Chiefs have been shut out 3 straight second halves and are one of the worst second half offenses in the league. It was nice to see they could finally do something in the second half. Hopefully they can build out that momentum going forward. Bills versus Eagles. Boy, that hurts. The Bills had multiple chances to deliver the dagger. They had a field goal blocked earlier, a field goal missed earlier, then wide receiver Gabe Davis and Josh Allen were not on the same page in that overtime and near the end zone there. If they were, it would have been an automatic touchdown, game over. But once they didn't connect on that and had to settle for a field goal in overtime, I knew the Eagles were going to come back and win. Sure enough, they did. They just continue to overcome these slow starts and find ways to win games. Ravens versus Chargers. Chargers are out of electricity. At 4-7, I don't want to hear any more about, well, maybe the Chargers could sneak somehow into the playoffs and get things going on. It's like, no, they're done now. And it's only a matter of time before Brandon Staley, the head coach, is done as well. And then but the Monday football game last night between the Bears and the Vikings, not cleared for takeoff. Aerospace engineer and quarterback Josh Dobbs had a great start to his Vikings career against Atlanta and New Orleans, But against Denver last week and now against a subpar Bears defense, Dobbs is not looking like he did when he first came to the Vikings, throwing 4 picks. Now it's looking like what he did towards his final days in Arizona before he got traded. And if I were Kevin O'Connell, head coach, I would start Hall. And that's what I've been saying since Hall got his concussion. It's like, hey, first of all, he was playing well before he got hurt. Briefly, it was short amount of snaps, but he played well before he got hurt. He shouldn't be benched because he got injured. That's not fair. I understand it's an NFL and that happens, but still. And then second, and the bigger reason, you need to see what you have in him. You drafted him for a reason. It's like, you need to know, okay, can he be either a quarterback of the future or at least our clear-cut number 2 if Kirk Cousins decides to come back next year? Or if he bombs out, then we know, okay, now we got to do something else in the offseason. But at least you'll know either way versus thinking but not exactly knowing. So we'll see what O'Connell does after the bye break for the Vikings. Thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel and tell everyone about me. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day.